Good evening, it's Rodney Allen Rippy, and you're listening to 90.3 FM Radio Suerte, and this is the Wednesday Evening Report. The World Health Organization has declared the mpox a global health emergency for the second time in 2 years. The WHO continues to warn health officials of the risk of a spread. The highest alert has been placed on the accelerated research, funding, and international public health awareness that needs to be sent out. Mpox can spread through close contact, and it's a disease that's usually mild, but it can be fatal in rare cases. The World Health Organization today said it has released $1.5 million as a contingency, but they have plans to release $15 million to be able to help in this pandemic. They say that there's been over 17,000 suspected cases and over 500 deaths this year. More global breaking news. A top Hamas official losing faith in America's ability to be the mediator between what's happening there in the Gaza. They say this is something that's been going on for 10 months, but they just don't know if the U.S. can be a proper negotiator. The U.S. has referred to this negotiations in Israel. The U.S. referred to these negotiations as a Israeli proposal, and Hamas agreed to the principles of it, but Hamas said Israel's speech and President Biden's words are not consistent, and now that has led to both offering very separate types of proposals, and now they're saying each other are responsible obstructing this deal. Hamas is reluctant to let Israel's demands stand and maintain as a lasting military presence in two strategic areas of the Gaza after any ceasefire could be put in place. We here at 90.3 FM, we really hope that they can achieve some form of peace there in this ongoing conflict. On to national news. Montana's Supreme Court ruled that today minors don't have to have parents' permission to get an abortion. This ruling comes as an initiative ballot come this upcoming November. So we're going to find out what happens there. More national news. There was a rocket that was fired at a U.S. military base in Syria. Now they said this happened just a few hours ago. The rocket attack and this attempt was directed towards a coalition forces mission support site there in the Euphrates of Syria. They say that no U.S. forces were immediately hurt, and they say the U.S. forces immediately responded, and they say that this was an act of self-defense. There was also a statement made, our forces retain the inherent right to self-defense, and we will not hesitate to take any action to protect ourselves whenever necessary. They did say that this has been the third attack on U.S. bases this month in Iraq and Syria. This recent attack, no one was hurt, but they did say an attack recently, there were several military people hurt in that process. On to local news in Orange County. They say a band of burglars hit 3 businesses in an Anaheim shopping center just after 1 a.m. The videos show that these masked men are more than just your typical bandits. They are professionals. They had certain tools that some people said that they had never seen, and they quickly got in and they left with cash and other items. I'm sure that the Anaheim police are going to be stepping up. They probably are going through a lot of the surveillance video in the area to see if they can get additional evidence. A Southern California legend, his name was Wallace Wally Amos Jr., aka Famous Amos. He died today. He was 80 years old. He'd been suffering with dementia, and they say that he died with the comfort of his family at home. We send our regards out to his family. Amos was a native of Tallahassee, Florida, and he opened his first Famous Amos cookies in 1975 in Hollywood, right on the Sunset Strip. When I was a child, when I would go into Hollywood, my mom would take me into Hollywood for my auditions, and as a very special treat, I would ask my mom, hey, can we stop by and get some Famous Amos cookies? And of course, my mom loved them as well, so we would stop and get a bag of Famous Amos cookies. Now, if you haven't ever had any Famous Amos cookies, they came in like a beige bag, and it had his blue logo on it, Famous Amos, and these cookies were hot right out the oven. They were amazing. But we have to say, Famous Amos, we love you, and you really made the chocolate chip cookie great. On to local weather here in Orange County. The current temperature is 82 degrees. It got up to 87 today. Thursday, it's going to be 88, Friday, 86, and Saturday and Sunday, it's going to cool off a little bit. It'll be around 84 degrees. What's hot in the OC? this Friday, the Atlanta Braves versus the LA Angels. It's going to be a home game. Kicks off at 6:38 p.m. Make sure you get your tickets. Also, there's just a few more days for the Orange County Fair. Of course, that's happening in Costa Mesa, and we say get out there and have some fun. On the entertainment news, Tyrese Gibson, he talks about his new film 1992. This is actually a film, and it is based on the LA riots from 1992. This is a crime thriller. It's going to be a huge project, and you know, we have to say hats off to Tyrese Gibson. You guys know him from his movies. He's been part of the Fast and the Furious trilogy, his on the TV show The Parenthood, so many other great movies out there. Just an amazing actor, and now he's got this new film. I have to say, I'm honored to know another dear friend of his. His name is Pastor Ernest Johnson, and this is what he had to say. Got an exclusive interview with a dear friend of mine, but it's more than that. His name is Ernest Johnson. He's pastor, evangelist, and founder of the JitaTV.org network, Jita Television, and Jita Ministries. How are you doing today, Pastor Johnson?
I'm blessed, brother. How are you?
Man, I'm fantastic. Well, today, you know, this is all about entertainment, this segment. And, you know, it's an amazing thing, you being in the ministry. But we started out a long time ago because we were friends at the Alfan Theatrical Ensemble in Hollywood. Remember that?
Yes, sir. I certainly do. You were 9, I was 14.
That's right. So you had a love and a passion for the entertainment industry and acting and all, but you always had a heart. You had a special heart for ministry, and you were just an all-around good kid, you know.
Yes, sir. I was trying to be like you when I grew up.
Oh, hey, man. Well, you know, and Pastor Johnson, you know, it's amazing that over the years, it's been, wow, goodness gracious, it's been 40-some years, would you say?
40 years I've known you.
Wow.
And the amazing thing is, when you were 9 years old, your mother trusted you to go with me in a limousine to all my friends' house in Compton.
That's right. We took a little ride.
So that's how tight we were back then, and we've never lost contact all these years.
That's exactly it. You know, well, you know, Pastor Johnson, today, you know, we're wanting to run a little breaking news story, and it's about Tyrese Gibson. Tyrese, you know, everybody knows him from the Fast and Furious franchise. I mean, he's done a lot of great things. But you actually knew him from the show Parenthood.
Yes. Tyrese had just finished. He did the Coke commercial where he was singing on the bus.
That's right.
So right after that Coke commercial, I was a talent manager. I'm a pastor, evangelist, but came in the industry as a manager. And the name of my company was Jita Artist Group. They can look it up now at Jita Artists. So anyway, one of my clients, DeAndre Bonds, booked an episode of Parenthood. And so when we were at the audition over at Warner Brothers Studios, Tyrese walked through the door like he owned the place.
Wow.
I mean, really, very overconfident, like he walked in like he owned the place. And so he and my client, DeAndre, booked the roles on Parenthood.
Wow.
And then from that, we developed, it wasn't a fellowship where we hang out and we go get drinks, because I didn't drink. I was sanctified. So, I mean, it wasn't that kind of meeting where we got hired, nothing like that. But it was a more of a, I don't even want to say a mentorship, just a in passing type of relationship. But I learned a lot about him, and he learned about me, and we would talk about our client. We would talk about how the business was. Now, him and I really hooked up when we were doing the premiere of Albert, because one of my client Aaron Frazier, played Weird Harold on the Fat Albert, and so we were on the red carpet. Tyrese was on the red carpet, myself, and him and I stood in the middle of the red carpet, and we must have talked about 30, 40 minutes, you know what I mean, about the business. And then he talked about he had a baby by one of my members. His manager was one of my members' family members.
Okay.
So that's how I used to keep up with him and hear about him. And then his sister, may she rest in peace, she cast one of my independent films.
Oh, okay.
And she was the casting director on on my independent film Hollywood Preacher.
Okay.
So that's my involvement. Then all of a sudden, we would ask Tyrese to come to Watts and do different events for us and things like that. So that was the extent. And then from there, once he did Baby Boy.
Right. Oh yeah.
When he did Baby Boy, one of the girls that was in the movie was in my movie Flossin'.
Okay.
And so Snoop Dogg discovered her from my movie and put her into Baby Boy, The Wash, and Soul Plane.
Okay.
And I can't even think of the girl's name right now. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
It's all good.
Yeah. So that was our relationship. So we always crossed each other's path. But then, like I said, after he did Baby Boy, then his career just took off.
Right. That's, it's amazing how you see these superstars, but there's always a backstory. They all started somewhere. They all started from humble beginnings. Some forget, some remember, some forget.
Right.
But it's great to see Tyrese doing his craft, and and congratulations to him. So this was just kind of like just a connection call, because I knew that you had crossed paths with him on several occasions and things like that.
Yes.
And if you could say one thing to Tyrese, what would it be?
Tyrese, much continued success. And one of the things I really like about Tyrese now is he has a very strong faith in Jesus Christ.
Oh.
And he's not ashamed of it. He has a very strong faith. Even when he does his interviews now, he talks about the Lord. He talks about Jesus. He don't just talk about the Lord.
Right.
He makes sure that the God he's talking about don't get confused.
Right.
It doesn't get confused with other people in other situations. He says Jesus Christ. And God has done a lot in his life. And God has pulled him through bad relationships.
Ups and downs,
yes. And I continue to pray for him. And he never forgot where he came from in Watts, and he's always bringing all the big people back to Watts. And so he's a good guy. He keeps up the bloodstained banner.
Yeah.
Can I just say this one thing? Like you said, you never know the people that you know.
Right.
You never know that the people that you know. I rode for 2 hours with Tyler Perry from Atlanta to Rome, Georgia, and just him, myself, and our driver in the car. And I had no idea he was going to be, and nobody had any idea he was going to be who he is today.
Wow.
Same way with Tyrese.
A big shout out to Tyrese. Amazing. Pastor Johnson, Jita Television Ministries, Pastor Evangelist. God bless you, man. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you, Rodney. Thank you.
And continue success in the ministry and all the great projects. And I know you're still out there developing some very positive, family-friendly content and movies and such. And so continued success to you. Continued success.
And you too, Rodney. You too, okay?
For sure, sure.
And God bless everybody.
All right. Thanks so much, Pastor Johnson.
Thank you.
All right. And that's going to do it. That's going to wrap it up. I'm Rodney Allen Rippy, and you've just heard another 90.3 FM Radio Suerte report.